Okay.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Success leaves clues. And there's going to be, 6, arguably 15 traits that the high-performance people have had the last 50 years. But virtually all the high-performance people have had them. Myself included. For many of you, maybe most of you, I'm the closest that you've been to a super high-performance guy, or gal for that matter. But I certainly, the difference between myself and all the people we're going to talk about is, you want to be liked rather than effective. I'm not here for you to like me. I'm here selfishly for you to follow the steps and put numbers on the board for me. One or two of you that I talked to, I happened to get an email from one of the up-and-coming stars. And I told you what he's created in the last approximately a year. Does that have to do with anything? You're looking for a reason not to succeed. You're looking for a reason to engage in self-sabotaging activities. Being a medical doctor is not a high-performance act. Getting a PhD is not a high-performance act. Graduating with honors is not a high-performance act. The next question I asked, what is the high-performance thing that your parents ever did? Almost all of you, 0, 0, none, 0. Time is money. We can get money back, but we can't get time back. Now, nobody in this room is even remotely as old as I am, but you're running out of runway. And for those of you that are young kids, 20, 21, don't let anybody tell you you're young, you got plenty of time. So how does your program work out? It hasn't, has it? This is not the end-all, be-all being here. As Einstein says, any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into the lazy habits of thinking. And that's what you all have suffered from. And somebody has told you, read 2 books a day. What have you learned about those 2 books a day? From those 2 books a day? Nothing. And now you're sitting before a guy who reads no books. This is a slight Trump exaggeration. What does Albert say? And what do you do? What have you done heretofore? Within the gigs you're going to get, there's 7 or 8 books that if you have to, if you can't stand it and you're going crazy, you got to read something, there's 7 or 8 books I list. Kids are good, but they lack leadership. Now just imagine you've got a kid that you're trying to homeschool. Now let's not use you as an example, because we'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you're smarter than the average parent. I don't believe that, but let's just for this example. And you're trying to homeschool your kid and you're a retard. That's why the parents are complaining, because they realize they're not capable of homeschooling their kids. A good teacher stays 1 or 2 chapters ahead of the student. A great teacher knows all the chapters. Well, very few teachers today know all the chapters, so they stay 1 or 2 chapters ahead of the students. We have parents today that are just a shade above imbecile, just a shade above retard, trying to teach their kids. And that's why they're already talking about the lost generation. We never come back from that. We haven't even factored that into the numbers yet. There's been somebody that's come out the other end more wealthy than they were when it started. Why not us? Some of you will engage in self-sabotaging activities, even more than you already have in previous to you getting here, because you don't know any better. You've seen your parents engage in self-sabotaging activities. In other words, making mistakes on purpose at a subconscious level to make sure you didn't attain your goal. Why are they so susceptible? Somebody says, why are they so susceptible? Why is it so easy to take money from the poor? And they don't have any money. Why? Low self-esteem, even lower than yours. And that's saying something. Less self-confidence than you, and that's saying something. But you got to hunt them down. And now the internet makes it easy to hunt them down. But I'm not showing you how to take from the poor. Do you know how much time you spend on the whys in your life? Well, when you start keeping track of it, when you get the weekly report schedule, and you can see how much time Guys like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk share a habit. They keep their diaries, their schedules in 5-minute increments. You got about 10 seconds to introduce the idea, and you got 4 minutes and 50 seconds to convince them on your idea, and then it's the next meeting. Even myself, I can't say hello in 5 minutes. But when you're accountable for every minute of your day, from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, and you got to write it down. Nobody ever asked me about the weekly reporting, the guys that came through from Mark, because you didn't do it, or you didn't do it properly. You should be sick when you start keeping track. Would you want your kids, if you have kids or you're going to have kids, to be like you? Nobody raises their hand. 600 have ever raised their hand that they wanted their kids to be like. Then I asked, how many of you would like your children to be like your parents? They giggle. And then somebody raises their hand. I had a grandfather that I've told had big balls. It was tough as nails. I hope my kids are like him. I hope there's enough DNA still left in our string. Does that stop anybody from having kids? No. That's why the chain of poverty is so fucking hard to break, because kids don't do what you tell them to do. They do what they see you do. Now, I wouldn't say I don't want my kids to be like my parents, especially my dad, superhero. I wouldn't say that I don't want my kids to be like me, because if you met them, they're very much like me, but they're not snowflakes. I wonder why they're not snowflakes, because we're not snowflakes. And the reason why you allow yourself to be taken advantage of, because you've led a self-sabotaging lifestyle forever. Now, some of you have made a few bucks. The operative word is a few, or the operative words are a few. But almost everybody equates high performance. Like Albert Einstein was high performance. He died poor. I don't think he had, this is exaggerated, I don't think he had 25 grand. Well, you're not Einstein. Unless you've been hiding something here. You're not Einstein. But you have to take responsibility. QLA is a system that puts the responsibility and the onus on you. Nobody else. You have the dream team to back you up because you don't know shit.